Good morning this morning, and welcome to There Are Two Players Who Are Crushing Winter Workouts edition of the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor and smash that like button. If at any point during this conversation there's something that strikes your fancy, make sure and put a comment down in the comment section below. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel. That'll help us grow, and we really do appreciate it. It's absolutely free, costs you nothing, and it makes you a good human being. All right, guys. So, Chris Drew dropped some information yesterday. My buddy Chris Drew, one of the nicest people in this sphere of Ohio State podcasting world that I have inserted myself into the past 6 years, and love that kid. I think he is going places. I really do. I think Chris Drew is going to be a star when it comes to sports media. But he dropped a little nugget on my lap yesterday, and I want to talk about that. There's apparently a couple Buckeyes who are just crushing winter workouts right now. One on offense, one on defense. And let's talk about who they are. Let's start with the offensive side of the ball first today. Let's talk about running back James Peoples. James Peoples comes from San Antonio, Texas. He was a freshman last year. He's 5'10", 205 pounds currently. And as far as what he did statistically in his freshman year, true freshman year last year, he played in 8 games where he had 49 carries for a total of 197 yards. So he averaged 4.0 yards per carry. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he had a long of 18 yards was his longest carry. So not huge numbers as a freshman, but let's be honest here. He was buried on the depth chart, and when Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins both play the entire season and stay healthy, obviously that's going to hinder you from getting a ton of carries. He was, as far as the running backs are concerned, though, he was third on the team in carries. Will Howard was actually third overall, but of course he at the quarterback position. So James Peoples is crushing winter workouts on the offensive side. Now here's why that is important. We're going to need a cowbell. We're going to need somebody to carry the load. I know we got a transfer that came in from West Virginia that a lot of people are high on. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how super high we should really be about transfer running backs that didn't crush it in the SEC, a la Quinshon Judkins. But there's a reason why Coach Locke thought it was a good idea to bring in C.J. Donaldson Jr. from West Virginia, who's got 1 year of eligibility remaining, and maybe he's a good change of pace back. He's a bigger bodied guy. He can kind of get some of the short yardage things and spell James when he needs an extra breath. And let's also not forget about the fact that, speaking of running back depth, right? That we had several true freshmen that we picked up via recruiting, but we also had a big win when Sam Williams-Dixon, the redshirt freshman, decided to come back to Ohio State. So he jumped in the portal. That he came back. Obviously, the coaching staff thought enough of him to bring him back to Ohio State even after he jumped in the portal. So that's a good sign for the Buckeyes when you talk about depth in that running back room. And this is a room that, for the first time in kind of a long time, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs looking at that room, wondering if they're going to be able to kind of pick up the pieces and pick up the pace after you lose 2 guys who are going to go and both be drafted in the NFL. That being said, um, they're going to be running behind, in my opinion, what is going to be a strength outside of the wide receiver room. The biggest strength on the offensive side of the ball the offensive line. It's been a long time since I've gone into a season thinking the strength of Ohio State's offense is going to be up front. That's going to help people like this guy improve on those yards per carry, become have a more consistent and a better presence in the backfield and in the running department when you have an offensive line who's getting a great push up front. So I think James is going to have a pretty good year his second year on campus, his sophomore season. And I think he is going to be, in my opinion, going into this season, at least going into spring ball, RB1 for this team. Now, I believe Coach Locke, Ryan Day, and Brian Hartline, for that matter, as the new offensive coordinator, are going to want to use a similar system that we saw last year with Travion and Quinshawn, the two-back set. Why I believe that is important, and when you get into the weeds and the details of why, let me explain. College football is no longer 10, 11, or 12 games in a bowl game. It's not that, right? When I was a kid, it was 10 games, 11 games, and now then it was 12, and now it's the 13, and then even 14 if and now we have the 15. It's not that anymore. 16 games. It's an NFL schedule. These kids aren't built for 16 football games, grueling football games each and every single week in, week out in the Big 10. You can't do it. It's impossible. You're going to have depth. And so I believe they are going to adapt a two-back system moving forward, meaning this. You can't count on one guy being the cowbell. Now, I said he was going to be RB1. I said he was a cowbell. But what I mean is, I think he is kind of the feature back, but you're going to run two backs. You're going to run them. You have to, for their sake, for their health, for the sake of the team and the longevity. You're going to have to run a two-back system in college football if you're going to be successful. So this guy is going to be one of those guys. The fact he's killing winter workouts, the fact he's been on campus for a full year now, the fact that Travion's no longer blocking him, the fact that Quinshawn's no longer blocking him, he's going to be one of those guys. Who's going to be the other one? Will it be Sam Williams Dixon? Will it be one of the freshmen? Will it be Turbo? Will it be Bo Jackson? Will it be the transfer we got from West Virginia, C.J. Donaldson? That's the question. It's going to be very interesting to watch that competition play out this spring and through the summer, going into fall camp. But my money, for what it's worth, is on this guy. And to hear he's killing winter workouts, that is music to my ears. Now let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. I've already talked about this guy once. Let's talk a little bit more about Arvell Reese. Again, apparently he is killing winter workouts, and that is, again, music to my ears. Cody Simon led the team in tackles this year from the middle linebacker position. And to think, that's kind of a daunting thing to think about when it's like, okay, how are we going to replace 112 tackles? How are we going to replace 7 sacks? One forced fumble from the middle linebacker position. Well, obviously, you have Sonny coming back, and that's huge. He was second on the team in tackles. You've got Iggy, who decided to come back. That was big for this team as well. So you've got one of your cornerbacks coming back, and oh yeah, Caleb Downs, the best safety in all of football, who was third on the team in tackles with 81 total. He's coming back too. But how are you going to replace that production of Cody Simon? And it is great to hear that Arvell Reese is absolutely killing winter workouts as well. Now, Arvell's an Ohio kid from Glenville High School in Cleveland, Ohio. He's 6'4", 235, 240, somewhere around in that area, probably 6'4", 240. Fast as lightning, hits like a Mack truck. The dude is, as Chris called him on his show yesterday, he's an SEC style linebacker, and that's beautiful to hear that this guy is ready to do that. Now, a lot of people were wondering why he kind of didn't have many snaps late in the season. I think they shored up that linebacker room. They got Cody in there, and after that Oregon game, they wanted somebody calling plays in the middle of that linebacker and putting everybody in position who was able to kind of shore up that defense. Arvell's got to work on that aspect of the game, having eye discipline, the mental aspect, the not just the see ball, get ball, but the where's the ball going based off of film study, tendencies of your opponent, things of that nature. So and that's going to come with time in the film room, spending more time with James Laurinaitis, the linebacking coach, and just reps, game reps. He's one of those guys, like a lot of these guys on this team, on this defense. Of course, we're replacing 8 starters on defense, who um, he's uber talented, right? 4-star, top 200 kid, one of the best recruits in the state of Ohio when he came to Ohio State that year, but he's just lacking collegiate reps. They got him a few last year, but it's being thrown from right into the fire here, man. It's sink or swim. And when you have a scenario like that, it is really awesome to hear, hey, the dude's killing it and he's looking great in the weight room. He's physically ready. And with that usually comes the mental aspect of the game too. So much of the mental aspect of athletics is the confidence that is built in the off season through just physical training, strength training, conditioning, leadership, finding your voice as a leader. It's one thing to come in and say, yeah, I'm going to be a vocal leader, but you're an underclassman. There's guys who are starting ahead of you, who have more experience than you, who are the captains on the team, and they've got a voice that's louder than yours just simply because of time and experience, right? Arvell is going to have to find that now because those guys are gone, and those younger guys are going to look up to you to do what the older guys were doing for you when you were a younger guy. So Arvell is going to have to find that voice, but it's good to hear, hey man, the physical aspect is coming along very nicely. The mental aspect, the verbal aspect of leadership, that tends to follow as well. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing how that aspect of his growth is going to be coming this offseason as well. So, really good news that Chris Drew dropped on everybody's lap yesterday, that James Peoples and Arvell Reese are killing it. They are getting they're this winter. They're getting bigger, stronger, faster, and ready to rock and roll as we head towards the 2025 season. All of this reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses, 2 Samuel 22:33. God is my strength and power, and he maketh my way perfect. It's not about living a perfect life. None of us can live a perfect life. Arvell Reese and James Peoples, as much as they strive for perfection, they're not even going to be perfect. But it's good to know that the path that we strive to walk on is the perfect path, and that path is Jesus Christ. So, have a good day, everybody. I've got a trip. I will be out of town today, out of state today for work. If I get back in time tonight, I'll have another video for all of you early tomorrow morning. Don't forget our Thursday night call-in show coming your way tomorrow. You can hear that right here on the OHIO Podcast YouTube channel at 8 o'clock. Call in. We're supposed to be getting a special call from somebody who has a bone to pick with me, who's calling me out. That ought to be interesting. We'll see if he's got the guts to call in and talk to this old hillbilly. So have a great day, everybody. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. You all know what to do. Go Bucks.